Okay, with it being 6:30, I'd like to call the meeting to order. We have enough people to have the meeting here, so I'd like to call it to order. Is there any amendments, or can I get approval to the agenda?
I make a motion we approve the agenda as printed.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Russ, seconded by Larry. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda as it's stated to us indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried, thanks. In front of us, we have the 28E agreement. It's based upon the softball field in correlation and in working with the city of Ireton. I'd like Ryan, he pretty much was in the person that helped develop this with Mel Sioux and Craig Peterson in the city of Ireton. Can you go through that?
Yep. It was a pretty generic agreement. We did add actually some specifics after Russ and Gary and myself and Craig Peterson and Mel Sioux were able to meet. The first item that we discussed was the need to meet following the season, just to kind of go over how the season went, what changes might need to be made for the next season, and just to kind of keep everybody on board. And then that will be found in Area 1 on the second part of that paragraph. What Wesley was responsible for is the aeration and fertilization of the fields. If we go down to 8, earlier on the very first copy from the month before in September board meeting that I shared really was very open-ended on termination of the agreement. Everyone at the joint meeting between the city council, the 2 members, and our 2 members, thought we'd want to have a little bit more difficulty in getting out of the agreement. So what we did was, in order to terminate it, it's very similar if we were to have a disagreement in the governance of the administration of the agreement, would be that the 2 board members from the school board and 2 city council members would come together to resolve. If they were unable to resolve the agreement that would be terminating the 28A agreement, a 5th person would be selected by the list of from the Public Employment Relations Board. Now, if this were to take place, a termination of the agreement would take place, 1 full season would still need to be played on that field before termination could go through. And those are kind of the pieces to that and the specifics to that agreement. And be my recommendation to approve this and move forward with having something on paper at least to use as a reference in the case of our continued use of the softball facility.
Any questions? Okay. This is an action item, so we'll need a vote. Any motions?
I move that we approve the 28E agreement concerning the softball facility in Ireton as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Mr. Gregg, seconded by Mr. Cook to approve the 28E agreement. Any discussion for the vote? If not, all those in favor of accepting and the 28E agreement concerning the softball facility in Ireton and the West Sioux schools indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Next on our agenda, as it's well known, and it's been in the paper and amongst some people, that we have a vacancy on the board. According to the Iowa law, we had 30 days to fill that vacancy before we'd have to do a full-fledged election. So that would be actually, I think, October 5th or 6th or something like that. So we did that tonight. We put it in the paper and just around that we are looking for some individuals that would be looking to look at appointment. Appointment will last for the remainder of the vacancy's term, which I believe is 2 more years. Is that right?
Well, my understanding is it would go until the next election.
Well, that's next year.
That's
Yes.
next year. And
Okay,
then
excuse
at
me.
that time, it would, the election would cover the rest of the original term,
That's correct.
which would be 2 additional years?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yes, because it would not be the following year, it'd be the next year, so yes.
Thanks for that, Larry. So is that understood by the candidates, what actually that's involving? Good. As you can tell, I wasn't totally aware of all that. But anyway, so tonight we're fortunate to have 3 people that stepped forward with interest in filling that vacancy. We're thankful for that, and I appreciate that very much. So what we'd like to do is, and we'll go in alphabetical order if that's okay, of the last name. And so then we'd start out with Ryan Maher. And what we'd like to do is come up to the podium. It can be informal. Turn on the mic, please. And then just tell us,
Isn't it?
some history of yourself, and perhaps just a statement, what your interest is and what you'd like to.
Sure, I can certainly do that. Most of you know me, Ryan Maher. I've got 2 former teachers here. Rusty, you're a year older than me. We went to school together. Gary, just met you today. I'm sure we've seen each other around town. And I've been involved with Mr. Kramer for 6 years now, since I do have 3 kids in school. I got an 8th, 7th, and a 3rd grader. Like I said, they've been in there for 6 years now. I know Ivan's got, well, one's graduated already, so he's got a little more experience that way, year-wise. But I moved back to Hayward in 2007. And like I said, 2010, we adopted 3 kids, and they went into the West Sioux because I knew it was a good school. And I've seen it getting better over the few years I've been back. I like to see that keep going. I know there's challenges. You've got mandates for education, ways you got to do things, and I know those are always changing. Those are some of the challenges. Another challenge is, of course, you got to have the revenue. From what I've been reading in the paper lately, we've been pretty lucky so far, but there's going to be a time, possibly down the road, we're going to have to come up with some other plans to make things work correctly. And I'd like to be a part of that process.
Okay. Now is the time when we're going to actually ask some questions. It's informal again, but anybody have any questions for Ryan?
What personal qualities would you bring to the board that would be helpful?
I'm a good negotiator, for one. Have been since high school doing things with that. One of the qualities I got from my dad. Always willing to help out. Do what needs to be done type of guy too. So you can, I'm not going to complain if there's a committee that nobody wants to head. I'll take care of it for you.
We meet currently, we meet the second Monday of each month, and then quite a few times during the year we have additional meetings, whether they're work meetings or whether they're something that comes up that we have to have some type of thing. And they vary. Sometimes everybody works, and so sometimes we've had them before school, we've had them at noon, we've had them at night, we've had them as late as I think 8:30 at night, and lasted until 10 or 11 before. We try to respect families, business, and your life, but there's also sometimes when we have to react as quick as we can because really duty calls us, and you're able to fulfill that as much as you can.
I have a very flexible schedule.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? Do you have anything else for us?
Not at this time.
Thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next would be Mr. Sellers. No, excuse me, it would be Ivan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ivan.
Well, a lot of people know me that's here already. Moved here in 1982, and from Morris, and grew up, went through school here from 5th grade on up. Went to college and started farming, started electrical work, I guess, with Interstates for 25 years. Got married and had 3 girls, and they, like Brian said, one is graduated and the other 2, one's a senior and one's a freshman. And just interested in the whole process of helping the school out to grow and to get better with all the things that are going on. Willing to step in at any time to do things, to get things done. I am a hard worker, and I just like this school, and I would like to see it grow.
I heard you're a hard worker. What other personal qualities would you bring to the board?
Just being willing to step in and do things for anybody that's on the board, that's anything on in the school area. Yeah, just a lot of different things. Not afraid to get my hands dirty to get things done.
Anybody else have anything? Thanks, Ivan.
Yep.
Now me, huh?
Yes, now you.
First, I'd like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come and talk to you about my desire to serve on the school board. I'll introduce myself. I met many of you for the first time tonight. My name is Tom Sellers. I've lived in Haywarden for the past 3 years. I'm a 2005 graduate of Buena Vista University with a Bachelor of Science in Criminology along with a minor in Political Science. I'm currently employed by Center Fresh Group as a live production manager at Center Fresh Egg Farm in Sioux Center. My wife Sarah and I have one son, Jackson, who is 3 months old. My wife is employed by the state of South Dakota Child Protective Services as a child abuse investigator and caseworker. Following graduation from college, I spent 8 years working with juveniles with significant delinquency, substance abuse, and/or mental health issues in both a residential setting as a probation officer and in institutional settings as a counselor. Since moving to Haywarden, I've been a volunteer coach for the Falcon Wrestling Club, heading up the 3rd through 8th grade level and the Summer Freestyle and Greco program. This has given me a wonderful opportunity to meet many people in the community and to bear witness to the top-notch educational system we have here. I feel I'm best suited to serve on the school board because of my community involvement, past experience, and I feel I'm in a unique position as a new father. With my son being at such a young age, I have an intimate and profound desire to see West Sioux as the best setting for my children as well as all others within the district. I have a long-range viewpoint, as all decisions cannot be made for today or tomorrow, but for the long-term future. I feel that as a community member, I also have a responsibility to those in the community without children to use their tax dollars wisely. That will allow the community to be a better place because of the educational and stewardship opportunities our school provides. Our school is already on the cutting edge with technology, great curriculum, and a diverse school culture. We can work together to ensure that this school only improves and continues to help our children mature and become the pinnacle in education, not just in Northwest Iowa, but statewide. The past 3 years that I've lived here, I've seen so much support for the communities within the school district. The Falcon pride is everywhere I look. It is our responsibility as a school board to build on that enthusiasm and community pride and help that it continue in the schools. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them.
I'll ask the same question. What personal qualities would you bring to the board that would be helpful?
I'm extremely personable. Once I get involved in something, I delve all the way in. When I moved here 3 years ago, I didn't have any children in the school district, wasn't married yet, and immediately got involved with the wrestling program and tried to do everything that I could to help out the community, just to become a member of the community. So I'm hardworking. I feel I'm very organized, well-spoken, and well-educated, and I think I can make responsible decisions that are going to benefit the entire school and the communities.
Thank you.
Anything else? Do you have anything else for us?
I don't think so.
Okay. Now that you've sat down and had a moment, does anybody have anything else that they want to say, talk? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Basically what we do here, we have a written ballot, and we write it down, and the majority is how we call it. So if it's, 2, 1, and 1, however way. So,
If it would be 2-2, just, you want to fill that in, or do you want me to
Nope.
go for it? If it would be 2-2, we'll have a conversation as board members, continued conversation, re-vote after a sufficient amount of time has passed, and then we'll continue until we reach, have, not a tie, exactly. Well, not necessarily a majority, even if it would be 2-1-1, that, like Mr. Cook has pointed out, not majority of a 2-1-1, but yes, that's what I view it as.
Need 3.
does anybody have anything to say amongst us?
I'd just like to thank all of the candidates for coming and showing interest in being on the board. It's not always the easiest thing to do, but we appreciate your interest very much.
Well, yeah. Are these secret ballots? You just don't, be sure to get them out of order.
Do you need our names on them? No.
3 for Tom Sellers and 1 for Ryan Maher. And then you just need to vote on that too.
With that ballots being recorded to us, excuse me, with the ballots being recorded and reported to us as the way they are, I need a motion to accept Mr. Sellers as our,
I make a motion that we accept Tom Sellers as our next board member.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Coons, seconded by Mr. Gregg. Any discussion before we vote? All those in favor of accepting Tom Sellers as our appointed board member to fill our vacancy indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone that came in here tonight. It is nice when people step up and want to be on the board. It hasn't always been that way, and there's times when it isn't. And I just want to thank you. Appreciate it very much. With that, we'll move on to the agenda, which is adjournment. Do I have
I
a
move we adjourn.
second?
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mr. Gregg, seconded by Mr. Cook. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of adjournment indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I should be free every day this week, I think, after work. I usually get home around 4, and then I have my son, and my wife gets over around 6, so I'm free absolutely. I do have a business card on me.
Give a card. Since you're all dressed up, I'd like a picture too.
Perfect. It's not always this way.
No, just
712 540 1944.
I work with a local paper.
Okay.
I will give you my business card. Get in touch with me.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, I probably won't try to do this until like Thursday.
Okay, yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
There you go. You don't have any wrestling matches on Monday nights, so.
No, Monday nights are usually pretty open, so, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the busier nights on Saturdays, so, yeah, but yeah.
Falcon Wrestling Club won't be calling you.
No, I should be free. Okay.
I won't be here for you. I think you'll be sworn in next time.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly. Some point next week.
In case I didn't tell you, I love my love.
Thank you.
And those two are that way.
It's gonna be coming up here before you know it, yep, very soon,
Now
yep.
you guys got a little sooner this year than that
Yes,
football schedule.
Yep. Thank you very much, thank you very much. Look forward to working with you, thank you very much.
See you behind me. I still want to rise and back to the head.
Thank you.
Buddy, in.
Thank you very much, thank you, I look forward to working with you. Thank you, thank you very much, thank you.
Yeah.
Meeting next Monday? Okay, yep, next Monday, 6:30, perfect, okay, no problem, I'll be free.
Tammy, you get all your stuff, and send you an agenda.
Okay, okay, perfect, I'll make sure, I think you still have my, do you have my email?
I do have your email, yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And then I usually like to meet with the board members prior to the board meeting.
Okay.
Just go over that board.
Okay, okay, absolutely. Yeah, I got one in ties.
Oh, yes.
You know, my wife
wording and
didn't get home
everything.
until like right before, so I had to iron my own shirt, so I mean, that was a stressful situation. No, I think that, I haven't smelled the house on fire yet, so we'll see when I get home, but
Too long for council then.
Yeah, it was.
thank you very much. So, well, look forward to working with you, and we'll see you on Monday. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom.
Be in touch
Yes, thank you very much.
before the council.
Before the Cubs.
We got it all. Hit you up next Monday with. We're gonna do it again Monday.